Hello everybody. I must be addicted to making videos because here I am again, and I was going to have a break, but then something comes up and I feel like doing a video about it because it feels relevant, and if I make a video about it then I find that it actualizes in my life, as in it somehow reinforces the lesson for me. So I'm kind of doing this video for myself more than anyone else. God, Jesus. It's another one of these things, isn't it? You have to wash every day. Oh God. And then when you clean the house, well, or get somebody to do it for you because you can't, move about yourself so much, then it's within 10 minutes everything's dirty again. Where does all that dust come from and all that constant dirt? Surely, if anything, that's a sign that something is dreadfully wrong anyway. But you've got to clean the house because otherwise those nice people from Hello Magazine won't come around, And oh gosh, it's got to be one of life's crowning glories to be in Hello Magazine, in your underwear with your fake tits, and your wig on and your glass eye. Yeah, got to do that, There will be me on the front page, chewing my toenails. Lovely. Anyway, that's another story, as Rudyard Kipling said. I had an interesting experience yesterday. Now, it might seem minimal, and in a sense it was, but it taught me a valuable lesson which I needed to learn yet again. We need to learn these lessons over and over and over again because we're so programmed that it takes layer after layer after layer to actually get it to a significant level, to really, absorb it and crystallize it within your being. So there were some documentaries that I wanted to watch, on this channel, this pay-per-view type thing. So I decided to join them, paid them $7.99, which in and of itself was like a trial, because the website is really badly designed and it's like, but I got there in the end. But that kind of started me off feeling a bit frustrated and a bit like, oh, it's like this again, because it is, isn't it? It's always like difficult. They do this on purpose. They make everything difficult and there's no need for it to be that way. But anyway, so then I'm apparently there and I'm watching this documentary and that was good. And then all of a sudden it goes blank. Nothing. I'm like, what? So I looked into it and it's like the whole website is just like blank. Nothing happening at all. But the page where, the help page is still open. So I go into that. And you're just given the runaround. There's no, it's like you can't call them and you can't email them. You have to leave a message in the message center, to which they then say, if we haven't gotten back to you within 8 weeks, there'll be me sitting on the sofa like covered in dust, a few feathers, still waiting. And I'm like, that is not right, This is what they do, you know what I mean? This is the kind of distraction that they love, because this happens to everybody all over around the globe or on the disc, right? It happens to all of us and it frustrates the fuck out of us. Life is made up of these types of incidents, basically, Technology is designed a certain way. Smartphones are designed a certain way to make it difficult and arbitrary and whatnot, idiosyncratically idiotic. So I got very angry because here they've just taken £8 of my money and now they're not letting me watch anything and they're fucking me around, and I want to get some help. I want to get it sorted, but there's no way of doing so. So it just brought me straight back to that video I did, the one before last, because it reiterates exactly that scenario. Like, this is life, this is how it works, and it's fucking, I'm just no words for it anyway, And then I became acutely aware that despite all of that, I have the free will, I have the autonomy, the power, yes, to step out of that and say, hey, you know what, yeah, I felt the rage, and seeing as there's no way for me to get in touch with them or get any help, I'm just going to find out where they live and go around there with my beautiful set of kitchen knives. I can let go now. So I did. And I just felt it slipping away. And I became quite peaceful again, you know, and happy. And it was fine. As in happy, you know, not happy. You know, not like that, not like, okay. But peaceful. And feeling somewhat empowered because I chose to not let those assholes get to me. Life is like, it bombards us with this shit on a daily basis. And we have a choice to either react and get all incendiary about it, and that inevitably hurts us, it fucks us up even more. Or we can let it go. See, because we've been programmed to react and to get really angry and to bang our head against the wall, which is hurting us. That's why they do it, you know. They want us to react that way. They want us to be distracted. And then there's the quiet voice within me. It was very present, it was very there, saying, let it go. It doesn't matter. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. So I didn't, and I let it go. There is a catalyst within these types of situations that you feel that rage coming up. So I say, let it, allow that to come up, feel that rage. Acknowledge the frustration, acknowledge your gnosis that this is designed to fuck you up. And then get to the point where you can let it go and say thank you, because that's a bit of poison that is released from you, that's no longer inside of you, and you're now able to let go, so you have your power, your autonomy and your free will intact. And that's a good lesson learned. That's what I feel anyway. I do feel that way, because another lesson was, hey, switch everything off and fuck it, and just light your candles and just sit there and be still. Just be still, be quiet. You know, that's when you hear the quiet voice within, the quiet voice that the powers of darkness that live in your head as well do not want you to listen to, you know. And yet it's imperative that we do, because the quiet voice is the compass within. I call it the Great Mother. Some people call it, well, whatever, New Age people or people that are still entangled in that call it the universe, which is ludicrous, because if you're referring to the universe is a place. So you may as well say, oh, it's New York, or Mars is talking to me. I mean, it's ludicrous, really, you know, but everybody just blindly goes along with that, which, again, is just hive mind bullshit. It's not the universe, it's spirit, it's God, it's the goddess, it's the Great Mother. It's not the demiurge. It's, you know, if I was a Jedi, I'd call it the Force, and the Force is with us, but we must allow ourselves to hear it, to listen to it. Why do you think life is so loud and so demanding of our energy? How do you think it feeds? Well, one of the ways in which it feeds is through incidents like that. Here in England, people queue for everything. I'm sure they do in America as well. It's typical of hive mind slave behavior. It's like you all stand in a queue and everybody's afraid of anybody else getting ahead of them. You know, you get these like sidelong wary glances of, you know, don't you dare move an inch, because, you know what I mean? You get that. Because everybody's like there inching towards, and there's never enough people to serve them, you know. So in the bank or in the hospital or in the shops, whatever, you know, they're queuing and queuing and queuing and queuing. I mean, well, I don't anymore because I can't, but I used to back in the day, and it's always been that way. And it's just designed. That is what it is. It feeds off our energy. It wants our attention, because if it has our attention, then we are not listening and focusing on that quiet voice within, which is very peaceful, almost crystalline, and it's most certainly benevolent, and even though it's quiet, it's very powerful. And if you follow that, you'll find you're able to disentangle from all the bullshit more and more and more. And by not allowing yourself to be entangled and staying in this frustration, hate, rage, anger bubble, but by choosing to opt out of that, you are reasserting your free will. Now you might think, well, that's not great deal, is it? Well, every journey starts with a single step, and I believe that it's a very big choice to make, because most people are unaware, and they are like junkies. They're addicted to the rage and the hate and the frustration, and they will just bang their heads against the wall and do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, and just, of course, they don't get it, you know. But we don't have to do that. We can opt out, and we can say, hey, I have a choice here. I can stay the fuck away from this and not care, because sooner or later the website will come back up, and I will just cancel my subscription, and that will be that. I mean, in the past, I joined a website, and they charged me money, and then they just started taking money out of my account, you know. And that was one of these situations where I also couldn't email them, and I couldn't phone them, and it was like, oh, we'll leave a message in our message center, and we'll get back to you in about 23 years. And that, oh boy, I had visions in my head of going around there with atomic weapons and whatnot, you know. But the minute I let that go, I remember that very well, and the minute I took a very deep breath and listened to that quiet voice within me that said, you know, this is going to be okay. The minute you surrender and let it go, it will sort itself out, you'll see. So, because our ability to think rationally, critically, is much impaired, you know, by all this, you know, really is. So we don't actually come up with creative solutions either in that sort of paradigm. The minute I let that one go, I thought, all right, first thing to do is call my bank. I did. They stopped the payments, so they couldn't take any more. And then I remember leaving a message in their message center. God, these people, you know, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you out getting your mainstream media lies paper? Your bottle of gin? Anyway, so I let that go, and it got resolved beautifully. I did leave a message in a message center, not expecting a reply, but I got a reply within 24 hours, and they refunded me not only the other payments, but all payments, so I didn't end up paying anything at all, and then they still gave me a month free, so that was fine. So it all worked out. I don't think that would have happened if I'd have stayed in the agitation zone, you know. So we do have power, and it requires a choice, and it requires the awareness of that choice, which is what free will is, and which is what autonomy is. And it requires that inner voice, that presence there saying, let it go, let it go. I mean, the other side of that as well, or other side, it's just another part of it, like I say, I call it the catalyst, where shit happens that literally has you crawling up the wall with fear, worry, rage, whatever. And I'm a big believer in allowing yourself to feel that, because that is happening to to get that shit up and out, up and out, up and out, because it's got to be released, because it's the poison, the black goo within us, you see. It's part of our transformation. It's a purge, and so that is good. And once that's up and out, you can literally, you know, shake it off. I always do a really good sort of, and it's out then. And so we're freer. See, so I did a video on that, sort of psychic attack leads to healing and transformation of, or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, be ready. We have a choice that, yes, life is set up a certain way to feed off of our energy, no doubt about it, you know, and we can defend ourselves, we can put up these boundaries, because we do not engage with it at all. We can learn that more and more. It takes time, because we're very programmed, and that's our comfort zone, to react, and that feels natural, so it feels very counterintuitive to do the exact opposite. Actually, it does. It feels somewhat uncomfortable. It's like, well, no, I should be getting really, really angry, and but really what you're doing there is allowing them to feed and beating yourself up, and it is not good. It's not pretty. So we have a choice. We have choice. So that's all I wanted to say for today, you know, just based on my little experience yesterday. And now I'm going to have a break from making videos, so I'll probably see you in about a day.